Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today we will be talking about the Amagi, the Tier 8 Japanese tech tree battleship. Why are we talking about the Amagi? Well, the Amagi had a problem. The Amagi had many problems. But when you're coming from the Nagato, which frankly was a very, very good Tier 7 battleship, you are confronted with this thing. A Tier 8 battlecruiser. She has not a very good armor. She's relatively big, and in return she gets an extra gun turret. However, that extra gun turret, that's this one in the middle here, did used to have a problem, and that was the turret bug, where if you looked one way and you were outside of the turret angles, that meant that this gun turret was always swinging around the other way. And in a battleship, given that the gun turrets take a while to swing around, this usually meant that you were in a Tier 8 Nagato with worse armor. I mean, it's still not as bad as the Izumo at Tier 9, which used to be a 6-gun Nagato with terrible armor, but you know what I mean, right? So you sort of had one option. Either you would be sitting on full broadside to things, which given the Amagi's pretty terrible belt armor and relatively high central superstructure and large deck, wasn't healthy, or you could, well, run away from things, which, given everything else about the Amagi, probably wasn't a terrible idea, but yeah. This has been fixed, fortunately. So now we have an Amagi with a middle gun turret that actually works as intended. So I figured it's time to take the Amagi out for a spin and see how that works, and if this is now a ship that is not a really, really bad Tier 8 that I did not enjoy, but actually can be somewhat fun now. So as usual, I have done two rounds. I've played one game with just a standard setup and one game with historical camouflage and with Mr. Yamato himself here with the improved APCS skill and with the improved Citadel strike to give us more damage on Citadels. And we'll see how that all in all turns out in the Amagi. The first round we are playing is a 5v5 in domination on cage, and there are no destroyers. So that already bodes well for a battleship game. We are facing Veneto, North Carolina, Colorado, Mogami, and a black Charles Martel that, as is customary at this point, I have absolutely no idea what it is capable of, besides it's obviously being French, and as such hopefully somewhat squishy. So, also we do have an Atlantico on our side, so I think the challenge for this game is not to win, but to see if we can beat the Atlantico. The best thing you can do in the Amagi is to remember that it's a battlecruiser. So you do not wish to be necessarily close up to enemy things. You wish to, you know, take more of a back row position. Now, generally, you're still sort of in a battleship-ish thing, which means at some point you do have to tank for your team. But if you can delay that, given the fact that you lose your health very, very quickly, that's not a bad thing. And you look at the middle turret. Look at what it does. It's out of arc, but it's not swinging around to the port side. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Wargaming, again, for fixing that finally. Hello there. Takao. Okay. Takao obviously wants to be unspotted, but we are heading towards A cup. I have the range to cover B, and there is one of the bot Takaos. So, given that I have nothing better to... Oh, no, never mind. I have something better to shoot at. The black Charles Martel. Precise aim up, shots out. Now, is he turning or is he not turning? That wasn't too bad, but could have been better. Let's talk about the guns really quickly. The 410mm guns here are really, really good, especially at close range. They will hit really hard. But with the precise aim up, they can be pretty on point. Otherwise, they can be a bit hit and miss. But you can definitely get a couple of shots on target there. and make yourself felt. Now, Takao and me here in A Cup, well, we've got things to shoot at, because I think the enemy team is currently busy kicking our bot cruisers to death, and we haven't killed anything yet. So let's start focus firing on the Colorado. Now, this being a Colorado, the deck armor is atrocious, and it looks like one of our cruisers actually goes and says, "You know what, Amagi, I hear you, the Shapayev. I'm a light cruiser, but I'm a shield you from the incoming fire." I mean, it's not that I'm not going to exploit that, but this is without the APCS, by the way. I mean, Citadels are RNG, but now obviously the Shapayev does not want to do, wants me to go first, which is understandable. So I'm going to go manual aim on the North Carolina, precise aim up. And there's also a bot Takao. Okay, we can deal with this. And the Takao says, "You know what, Amagi, I know you have terrible armor. Let me go first and take this." I'm like, okay, sure. If you feel the necessity, I will assist you in this endeavor without too many complaints. You can finish off the bot if you want. I'll be shooting at the North Carolina because, yep, at this range, these 10 guns are putting the hurt on. And once again, the cruiser players have decided that they don't want me to get my paintwork scratched. And it looks like the North Carolina is also having better things to do. Now he's shooting at the Takao. Sorry, I saw the torpedoes too late. I already fired at that point. So let's get back, because we're only holding 2 of the capture circles, and we do have a Roma back there, and obviously the Atlantico, who probably hasn't really realized what's been going on, because we've just been... My cruiser escorts, my cruiser meat shields and me have just been sailing through the countryside here, murdering stuff. So Vittorio Veneto, without the precise aim, can be a bit of an issue, but I do have flanking shots at the Black Charles Martel here, and Shapayev goes, "You know what? That Vittorio Veneto looks bad for your hit points. Let me shield you." I mean, honestly, and Takao goes like, no, I've got this. Okay, we've taken out Charles Martel. Okay, Takao, you're running on a little bit of hit points. You can let me go first, you know? I might be in an Amagi, but it's not that bad. I've still got more armor than you, and I definitely got more hit points than you. So let me tank a little bit. Takao be like, nah, ain't happening. My fellow Japanese countryman, banzai! And he survives on a sliver of health. Let's see if we can get the Veneto down before he can reload. Or realize that he's got secondaries. Yep. And it was the Atlantico that took him down. That was actually the end of the game. And the Shapayev is still trying to shield me from incoming fire. So, yeah, that was obscure. If you can play this ship at these sort of ranges, because, you know, for some reason your team decides that it wants to Secret Service LARP for 7 minutes, then go for it, absolutely. And you can do a lot of damage. But let's look at a somewhat more normal battle. And don't let it detract you that this is a 4v4. Yes, there are 3 bots on the enemy team. But this is an interesting battle nonetheless, because we are having ourselves a little bit of a battleship action here. Amagi, Double Nelson and Nagato, base capture on Bay of Storms. Again, no destroyers, but this is going to get interesting, because the Amagi is a Japanese battlecruiser, and she will take a lot of damage from high explosive fire, and she will burn with Double Nelsons. That's going to be an interesting one. We do have a Fiji on our side. And it looks like our friendly Nelson on the western side of the map is the only one who's got, he's the only player there, whereas I have the Fiji and the King George on my side. So I want to position myself sort of for bombardment in the beginning and just stay back a little bit, get my guns on target, make sure that I can still cover the other side of the map if need be, but I don't want to go too far ahead. And especially not while we have bots that can do the scouting. And there is a bot Miyoko, but there's also the enemy Amagi. So that's my primary target here. If you see the marker of people targeting me, that's because of Yamamoto's skill. That, and I completely overshot that because I thought that Amagi was slowing down actually, not turning. That's Yamamoto's skill to indicate how many players are aiming at you. Okay, that Miyoko is probably dead, so let me just unload at that Amagi, and this time I won't miss. We can use the secondaries on the Miyoko. And yep, Yamamoto in action here. Yeah, Amagi is not a particularly well armored ship, so you do have to be a little bit careful. Okay, we've got a Nelson there, and we've got the Nagato back there, who, I mean, still a very good ship, and actually has better armor than the Amagi. So while the enemy Amagi is sailing around to the other side and switching flanks, and it looks like the Fiji is switching flanks as well, I might have to defend here at some point against Nelson and Nagato. But Nagato doesn't seem to be inclined to push, and Nelson, for obvious reasons, doesn't want to do that either. And yeah, this is the thing that Nelsons do to you, because that thing's got a 19% fire chance. This is what I can do back at the Nelson, even if I only get five shells on target, because I have a Yamamoto, and Nelson does not have good armor. In fact, I think Nelson's probably even worse armored than me. So obviously he's going for the permafires, which if he lands 3 of them is going to hurt. But yeah, we're wearing him down. And Nagato isn't interested in pushing. It looks like the friendly team is coming back again. Got lucky here with the fires. I am varying course and speed as much as I can to throw off his aim a little bit. And it looks like Nelson, I mean, he'd be much more advised to not be broadside on, but to be bow in, because it's a Nelson. He's got all the guns forward. But apparently he does not really have the interest in that. So yeah, I'm just reversing, which means he's missed that salvo, which means no permafires for you, because my Damacon's already off cooldown. And he has taken a significant amount of damage in return. But it looks like our western flank is now a little bit lonely over there, and the friendly Nelson calls out help. I was like, yeah, I've got you. I see you. I am just helping with getting that Nelson there killed. Yep, another citadel, and I will turn around and get myself back over there. Fortunately, I am in a relatively fast battleship, so can we finish that Nelson? I'll get 2 more shots out, and then I'll be... Oh, there's some torpedoes coming in. Oh, I think that was the carrier, actually. This might be airdrop torpedoes. Yeah, that was probably the carrier, because I don't think there's anything on the enemy team that actively can use torpedoes. That Nelson's still alive. What are you people doing over here? Yep. I'm on my way. I'm coming. I'll be right there. Don't worry. I'm just finishing off here because my team seems to have trouble finishing off the low health Nelson over there, and the King George is coming under fire. But yeah, okay. I'm not yet in range, but I will be in a minute. So I'll help out with the Nagato in the meantime. Yes, I am on my way. Good comms though. Good comms team. It's very good to. And the game is bugged out again and has robbed me of the damage for that salvo. This happens quite a bit recently, and it's a bit unfortunate, but something we'll have to live with. So that friendly Nelson is on very low hit points. There is an enemy Amagi, but he's not coming out. So I'm going to help out against that enemy Nelson over there. Where is he going? He is in the turn, so let's lead the shots a bit the other direction. And then I have got barely a scratch on the paintwork, so I can take over. I can take over the tanking here if necessary, but I think we've got him there. Okay, Nelson's done. Friendly Nelson has survived. The Fiji is in a close range, is in a fully broadside engagement with the Nagato, which is very unhealthy. And that enemy Amagi is actually poking out here and is currently being air spotted, which means I actually have something to shoot at, because his stern is poking out behind the island. But he realizes that, and I can't really lob across the island, and that means he's just moving back, because I mean obviously he's on he's got radically fewer hit points than I do. But I'll try to see if I can lob that ledge and blind fire him a little bit, and I might get a lucky citadel or something. But he has now gone undetected, whereas I'm still detected because of the Nagato back there, which keeps me spotted. So he can see me, but I can't see him. Okay, now we've gone out of detection. And I'm not entirely certain why, game. I should, for all intents and purposes, yeah, there we go. The Nagato should be spotting me. So I'm just trying to blind lob some shots over. And because the Amagi is now air spotted again from the bot carrier. But it looks like I've got no luck here. And the Fiji and the friendly Nelson there are very much out of hit points. So I may have to help out with that Nagato back there. Let's back off, get in range, fire a salvo off, and then go forward again to finish off the Amagi when it comes to that. There you go. You all survive. Good work, team, and well played. Now the carrier might be finishing off the friendly Nelson because there's because of the dive bombers. The torpedo bombers don't hit anything, but the dive bombers can. So that's probably the end of the Nelson. Yeah, but well played. Well played, Nelson. Good job for holding down the other flank, and I think the Amagi survives by not being seen. Carrier is nowhere. Oh, there he comes. Oh, he almost still takes out the Fiji. That Amagi was playing a good game, and I don't think that would have been enough. No, the Fiji wouldn't have been worth enough points to give them the win. But gee, that was well played around island cover and these little ledges. So yeah, there you go. The Amagi, a surprisingly good ship now that the turret bug is fixed. So I do have to say, I am actually now really enjoying the firepower that the ship brings to bear, and because you can get 10 guns on targets rather than just 8 of them, which would have put you at a very distinct disadvantage. So these 2 extra guns that you can now get on target thanks to the resolved turret bug, for me, makes this actually a really decent ship at this point. You do have to be very careful with the armor, or the lack thereof rather. But if you play a bit tactically, or make sure that you're not first in line to be shot at, then I think this is not a bad ship actually. Which just leaves the Izumo, which is still dreadful, but it's worth the grind to the Yamato. So there we are. So that's a good improvement, and I think for the tier 8, actually a fun ship now. And that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.